Those who know the truth must teach, African proverb. The reason why so many black people now favorably perceive Caucasians, in spite of such a brutally horrific history, has nothing to do with a silly slave syndrome myth. But that noted outcome among many black people that clearly benefits the white society is by deliberate design. It's actually because most black people are not functioning based upon an accurate interpretation of the true history that has been shared between our racial group and the white society. Most black people are instead functioning based upon a value system that serves and protects the system of white supremacy. It's a value system that has been deliberately embedded into our collective minds through the white society's monopoly over contents that we repetitively and systematically receive. Because they control the contents that we receive, it allows them to control what we believe. More specifically, it allows them to embed subliminal messages into our collective minds that serve their white society. Subliminal messages are hidden messages embedded within propaganda that we receive that are deliberately designed to bypass our conscious mind but becomes embedded within our subconscious mind, thus subconsciously controlling us. Here's an example of how the white society subliminally programs our subconscious mind. Notice how all information that we receive about Caucasians are consistently positive, while to the contrary, virtually all information we receive about black people are consistently negative. Can't you see just how unrealistic this scenario actually is? Furthermore, have you also noticed that virtually all study results that we receive from white sources favors whites over blacks? When critically thinking, can you not see just how unrealistic that scenario also is? It's in fact cartoonishly unrealistic to consistently have all information so one-sidedly favoring one racial group over another. It's fraudulent propaganda that is designed to subliminally embed the message into our collective minds that whites are inherently superior to blacks. Doing so affects us on a subconscious level. It's designed to make us feel subservient towards whites, and it makes us more compliant with white dominance over our lives. White social scientists describe the nefarious process as merely instilling a value system into the collective subconscious minds of the black population that makes us adhere to the authority and existing infrastructure of the white dominant society. This subliminal programming is so effective that it not only makes black people more compliant with white dominance over our lives, it in many cases causes many black people to prefer white dominance over our lives. It is the truth of our plight and condition. Now, if you don't believe that white oppressive forces are exploiting their monopoly over the contents that are fed into our collective minds to shape our minds in ways that benefits themselves, to manipulate us to think in ways that serves them, if you don't believe that's the case, you are extremely naive and you are totally ignorant of our true reality. It's the true reason why many black people now often makes negative generalizations about our own racial group. And it's why many black people insist that we're our worst enemies and reveres Caucasians in spite of such a brutally horrific history. And if you find it easier to believe that we're being controlled by a silly Willie Lynch myth, then your intelligence level is exactly where white oppressive forces wants it to be. Because your mind has been dumbed down by the system of white supremacy. The truth is that many black people are currently functioning based upon a programmed mindset that serves and protects the interests of the white society. There are 4 ways to effectively subliminally program the human brain in order to brainwash an entire generation of people. By what people are systematically taught, by the images that people repeatedly sees, and by the narratives that people constantly hear. Through the white society's control over the education that we are systematically taught, the narratives that we constantly hear, and through their produced movies and TV shows that we repeatedly watch while believing that we're merely just being entertained, they've embedded a value system into our collective subconscious minds that serves and protects their system of white supremacy. It is the truth of our plight condition. And this truth isn't hard to see. When you open your eyes and look at reality, you can see it's true. You can see that most black people are currently not functioning based upon our reality, but a program mindset that serves the white society. For if we were functioning based upon our true history and proper mindset, we would never self-identify ourselves by the N-word. We do so because of that false value system that have been deliberately embedded into our minds through the white society's social engineering programs. If we were functioning based upon our true history and proper mindset, we would never revere rappers that get upon global media platforms perpetuating the worst negative stereotypes about our racial group before the entire world. If we were functioning based upon our true history and proper mindset, we would not be revering and defending our evil oppressors while foolishly insisting that we're our worst enemies. These are evidence that our minds have been distorted. Through the white society's control over the education we're taught, the narratives that we hear, and also through their produced movies and TV shows that we watch constantly while we think we're being entertained, they've given their racial group an accurate, favorable image makeover within our collective minds. And they've negatively distorted our perception of our collective state. They keep us believing the fraudulent words about ourselves because doing so demoralizes us, divides us, and shifts black collective progressions away from the white society and redirects it against ourselves. It's how white social engineering scientists and white propagandists now prevents the black masses from unifying ourselves against the white oppressive society. It's a control system that utilizes the immense power that shame has upon the human mind to mentally enslave millions of black people. And those black people who don't critically think never notices their mental change. Every generation has its purpose. Ours is to reveal the truth and reverse the brainwashing. Our ignorance about the truth of our plight and condition provides our oppressors with their greatest power over us. Because as long as our understandings of our plight and condition remains flawed, then all of our liberating strategies and remedies that stems from those misunderstandings will also be flawed. This is precisely how white oppressive forces benefits when they keep us believing the falsehoods that our plight is connected to a Bible, although it in fact strongly condones slavery and was written by history's proven most ungodliest group of people, which inherently totally disqualifies it from containing the true words of God. It's also how the white oppressors are greatly benefited by keeping us believing that our condition is caused by the falsehood of the silly Willie Lynch slave syndrome myth, which presents what would in fact be the least effective and least plausible method used for controlling generations of people. It's simply not how true brainwashing is achieved. They once believed falsehoods. Those two false beliefs are both designed to keep us distracted from the truth. They keep to prevent us from learning the truth of our plight and condition that is necessary to gain that knowledge so we can develop the proper kind of strategies required to liberate ourselves. You know, they've got our people so mentally enslaved by their lies that telling the truth and stating facts now literally offends millions of black people. Fortunately, some of us are born with a sort of spiritual immune system that gives us the ability to see through the maze of lies and confusion, which our evil oppressors have designed for us. Throughout generations, our ancestors have always provided us with those they've given the spiritual insight and innate ability to see through the oppressor's walls of lies, the mental prison that our enemies have created for our minds. Those of us who are bestowed with this gift of spiritual insight must teach the truth to those of us who are still mentally enslaved. Those who know the truth must teach. I'm one of those who knows the truth, and therefore that's why I teach. I've been told by all social media platforms that my content will never be monetized. I'm being heavily shadow banned, but I'm still telling the truth, because those who are supposed to hear the message will get it. One love and peace.